It's incredibly naive to have faith in our institutions at this point. And I'm not just talking about America. And at the moment when I'm saying this, the Supreme Court of the United States hasn't given a final hearing on the Texas cases and well, all the election cases really. There's too many to keep track of. So it's not necessarily inspired by that, but this is this is all over the world really. This applies, but in the UK, for example, there's been people who've been appealing to the Magna Carta because they've been getting fines for stupid shit like not wearing a face nappy and that. And a lot of the time, it seems that their appeals aren't just being rejected. When they're appealing to the Magna Carta by courts, they're not just being rejected by those courts. They're being dismissed with prejudice, saying there's no basis for it. I won't hear any of it. And so basically the Magna Carta is null and void at this point, and the British courts won't uphold the rule of law. And we've seen with the election cycle in America, which should have ended over a month ago, is they've been throwing stuff at the courts in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and that. And a lot of the time they're just dismissing it without comment. We're saying, oh, it wasn't filed correctly, blah blah, so we can't hear it. And the Supreme Court itself did this the other day with a Pennsylvania case, and said, oh, it wasn't filed correctly. We can't, or I don't think it wasn't because it wasn't filed correctly. They just didn't want to hear it. And this in these cases there is evidence, like evidence to the point that it's proof, beyond reasonable doubt, that the Constitution has been violated. There has been election fraud in these states, but they're not hearing it. And it's a bit concerning, really. Now, in this Texas case, it's factual. It's not even relying on testimonies or anything. They are just saying they did that. These states did this without consultation from state legislature or whatever. And that blatantly violates the Constitution, as we can see written explicitly and unambiguously in the Constitution. So it should be a Grenada, a case closed, for them having violated the Constitution and thus their elections being unconstitutional. But that's very much a question at the moment. I'm not sure what the Supreme Court will say yet. By the time you're watching this, would likely, hopefully, be an answer. But again, you've got 20 states backing it now, saying that, this is bullshit. What's gone on, and it still might not go through. And of course, it's not just about the courts. Other institutions are bullshit. Well, the police we've seen, like in the UK particularly, with arbitrary law enforcement, basically of the COVID rules. People being arrested for sitting out in their own front gardens and stuff, and people being fined for face mask rules, even though they say they're exempt. That's not just about appealing to Magna Carta. This is they've said they're exempt, so they're actually complying with the current rules, but they still get fined. So there's arbitrary law enforcement, and similar stuff in America. With George Floyd, of course, you could argue, that was murder. And why should you have faith in the police in America? At the very least, they should have called an ambulance for him if he was ODing. And I know that's, it's very controversial still, but they should have, I think that was negligence, really. There should have been an ambulance called for him. It's pretty clear he was ODing and shit, or just had breathing problems. I don't know, maybe a coronavirus, the Wu flu. The Kung flu, that's a better one. The police are obviously another institution that you can't really have faith in. And there's a lot of, most other institutions really. Parliament, obviously, they're abstaining on everything, letting Boris rule by decree still, pretty much. Even Labour, who are meant to be the opposition, just abstain on all the all the lockdown rules. Even if at least if they voted for it, they'd be doing something, rather than just they're just wasting seats effectively by abstaining from voting on the tier system, which happened a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, you can't have faith in that section of institutions either. Well, I guess in America, you know, senators and that, they're all a little bit more faithful, I guess you could say. You know, they do stand up for what they believe in, but again, still quite dodgy. A few senators have, you know, like even Republican senators have said, you know, Biden's won, case closed, which is, yeah, that's complete bullshit. They're rhinos. And yeah, well, I think you get the point I'm trying to make, right, about how, yeah, institutions, especially in 2020, they can't be trusted. They are corrupt. They are corrupt from the bottom up, from the top down. I don't know what the best metaphor is in this situation. But so yeah, to say, you know, to rely on these institutions to help you out is it's just incredibly naive. So yeah, you really gotta just yeah, you can't rely on them, because they you know, they are bought and paid for by rich people, by, you know, in large part the Chinese government, it seems. And like, this is part of what I was saying about the other day, about how, you know, democracy isn't the same as liberty, because yeah, like when you elect these politicians, for example, you know, once they're in there, they don't have to do anything. Yeah, you trust in them, right, to, you know, represent you and act in your interests, but they rarely do. And yeah, well, that's just one institution we can't have trust in. So yeah, guys, remember, yeah, don't be naive. You cannot trust any institutions at the moment. You have to, yeah, you should not answer to them either. In, you know, this the whole social contract has just, it's just been dissolved. In effect, there is no social contract, and at the end of the day, that means there is no rule of law. So, well, that's a really sad fucking situation, isn't it? Cheers, guys.